Hi, my name is Bob Johnston. I'm with the Drug and Alcohol Treatment Program, Wichita Falls Faith Mission. I'm here with Daniel Igo, who's been with us for a while now. It's getting close to graduation. How you doing, Daniel?
Pretty good.
Fantastic. I'm going to ask you, Daniel, same question I ask everybody that sits in that chair. How'd you get here? What's your journey? Tell us about your journey.
So really, I was abused heavily as a child, which when I moved in with my mom, she worked kind of hard to kind of weed that out of those type of characteristics out of me because when I first moved in with her, everything was solved with violence, everything. So she kind of had to weed that out of me and teach me to be a more gentle person, but I was also afraid of everyone and everything. Like I couldn't go up to the cashier and like I couldn't. I was afraid of them. So she kind of weeded me out of that, and she put me into school in a really small town where everyone was super friendly, too much so. And then when I got to high school, I started hanging around the druggies because they were openly accepting of everybody. They didn't care. They don't care what you do, just as long as you don't tell them. So I went home one day and I was smelling like weed. Well, actually, it was over a couple of weeks that I was coming home smelling like weed, but I wasn't smoking because I smoked once with my brother, hated it. So she kicked me out. We actually got into a fight, and I pushed her up against the wall. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm not doing none of that. And so that night, I left the house because I wanted to let everything cool off and everything. And then my stepdad texted me. He's like, hey, since you didn't spend the night at the house, you're not welcome back. So I moved out. I'm like, you know what? You think I'm doing drugs? I'm going to do drugs. So got with some people, started up a meth lab, started making drugs. Um, and that lasted probably about a year. Um, and then I moved down to Houston where it got really bad. Because when I was in Sofer, it was I kind of daffled, but really wasn't serious about it. It was more or less just kind of like a pet peeve, pissed my mom off. When I moved down to Houston, I stopped doing drugs altogether for a little bit, went to a party, and the cops showed up, and everyone was freaking out because the cops showed up. And I'm like, okay, so I went and talked to the cops because I was the only one there sober. And when I went back inside, they're like, oh, well, we got to thank you for something. Well, all we have is meth. So I'm like, I don't do that. I don't like that. Because I tried it one time before that. Like I was cooking it, selling it, whatever, but I didn't do it because I did it one time before that and I hated it. Like it was the worst week of my life. I was up the whole time. This dude came over and was pestering me the whole time. It was just miserable. So I'm like, I'm not doing that again. But then they finally convinced me to do some, so I did some. Loved it after that. And at the time, like I wasn't running from anything. I wasn't trying to get away from anything that time. When I got sober that time, because I moved in with my grandma, I wasn't going to do drugs at my grandma's house. Um, I was sober for a while and then I started daffling a little bit and then I got really strung out and I went home and like, Grandma, I can't stay here. I'm strung out. I'm not doing this. She gave me a hug, told me she was disappointed, and at that point I wanted to die. So I went and I bought myself a pound of dope and I did it in a week. I had two seizures at the end of that week, and at the end of the week, it was probably a week or so after that. I called my grandma. I'm like, I can't take care of my dog anymore. Can you come pick up my dog? Which is her warning point to like be like, okay, he really needs help because if you know me and animals, I will not. I'll go to war for my animal. So when I couldn't take care of my animal anymore, she knew that I was past the point of being able to be okay. So she called my sister, and I went up to Snowville, Utah, town of like 300 people out in the middle of nowhere. Couldn't get drugs even if I wanted to. So it was kind of like forced rehab.
Yeah.
Um, and I did all right there. Was there for a year or so. My boss was an ex-druggie too, so she kind of helped mentor me and keep me sober and everything. And then we moved to Roy, which is a much bigger town. And within a month, the drugs were right there back in my life again. I wasn't using, but I was about to, and I'm like, I can't do this. So I joined the military, which I was using the military as a way to stay sober, not because I thought I would actually make it. Didn't think I'd make it through basic. Once I made it through basic, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Went to AIT. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna make it through AIT. Made it through AIT, and then I was in the real army when I was in Korea. I'm like, why am I here? How did I get here? So, and then I spent my time in Korea. Loved Korea. It was awesome. Drank most of my time in Korea because that's what everyone was doing. It's like it was just nothing but drinking. When I got to Fort Hood, a couple of my buddies drank, so I drank with them, but I cut it way back because hangovers and stuff started kicking in. I'm not a fan of them. And then towards the end of my time at Fort Hood, my health got really bad. My legs tingling in my hands and feet, loss of bladder control, back pain, just a lot of really bad symptoms. So I went out and I started doing drugs again. It was just a little bit here and there because I just stopped caring. Just I'm like, okay, if my body's falling apart, I'm done. I don't care. So then my mom died, and that was I didn't want to feel. So, and then a week after my mom died, my dog died, and the same dog that when my same dog from when my grandma was, and this was like 6 years after that. So my mom called me, and when my mom died, I didn't really cry. I had like it was too much for me because from the time she kicked me out to then, we were just like maybe 6, 7 years. I was just now starting to talk to her again. I was trying to go up there for like Thanksgiving for just anything, just try to get in contact with her again. And she kept saying no. Randy doesn't want you to come. Randy doesn't want you to come. Uh, Grayson's still mad at you. But when she died, they're like she never talked to us. So it was her. But which I get it. She had a reason to be mad at me. But when she died, just no emotions whatsoever. Like I didn't even cry at her funeral. And then when my dog died, just all the emotions came out. I was crying. I couldn't control it anymore. So I started really heavily using. I popped hot in the military, and that was kind of like, oh, I need to get sober. So I got sober for a year and a half. Got out of the military. Started using a little bit after going to a house party. Like I was staying with some friends who were keeping me sober. They were doing all the right things, helping me do all the right things. But I started going to house parties. And it was drinking and stuff. It was Coke here and there, which I could pick up, put down, wasn't a problem. And then one day they put out a line and they're like, yeah, it's Coke. I did it. And I'm like, that's not Coke. And they're like, oh, well, you've done meth before. It's fine. But I was right back on it. Right back on it. And then so I was doing it a little bit here and there. Wasn't, I mean, I was addicted to it, but it wasn't like critical at that point. And then my dad died, which is the reason why I moved to Ardmore when I got out of the military was to be close to my dad before he died. And when he died, the emotions hit me instantly. I sat like in my car for like a day, just sitting there crying. I felt like I was alone. There was no one around me. Even though I had the support group, but I couldn't be around them because I was using drugs at the time. So I just went heavy into it. Started using a lot of drugs. Started selling drugs because I lost my job, and that's how I got here. I eventually got caught. I was messing with the wrong, well, so I got caught. So I was messing with the wrong people, and life was getting really crazy really quick. Like people were showing up at my house with guns, threatening to kill me and stuff. So I'm like, okay. So I went to this hotel to drop off some stuff, and the cops were circling the hotel. And if they're circling the hotel, you know they're going to pull over anyone who leaves the hotel. So I'm like, oh, I'm leaving the hotel. And my friend who's with me is like, no, we can't leave the hotel right now. And I'm like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So we leave the hotel, and I got pulled over. And I'm just like, okay, I can talk my way out of this. It'll be fine. And then they asked her name. She had a warrant. They pulled us out of the vehicle and they went to search the car. The whole time I'm calm because I'm like, it was my way out. Um, so like to me, getting locked up was a blessing. And then from getting locked up to coming here, I'm not gonna lie, I originally came here to get out of a sentence. It wasn't until I was at your church, and it wasn't Pastor John, it was his wife preaching. And she's just like, well, maybe you're mad at God. And I'm like, I am. Screw God. Like, screw him. Why have I gone through all this? And I started feeling all these emotions again that I buried for a long time. Because I didn't even realize that I believed in God, let alone be mad at him. And you can't be mad at someone you don't believe in.
Yeah.
So it just opened the door for me to be able to express myself and express the feelings and the anger that I had that I didn't even know I had. But then the whole time during her sermon, because at that point I checked out of the sermon because I was just cussing God out in my head and stuff. And he's like, "Well, wait, what about these times I helped you when you were a kid?" And so like I ran away when I was 7. It was middle of winter time, and I almost froze to death. Only reason I came down off the mountain was because I heard my mom calling for me, my actual mom, not my stepmom. No way she could have done that because she wasn't in the state. Um, so I came down off the mountain. He's like, well, what about this time? And then when my dad was beating me on all this other stuff and I survived through it, helping my sister with different things, just like all these, where things could have gone so much more wrong. And he's like, that's me. That's where I've been. So why are you mad at me? I'm like, because you let this other stuff out. And he's like, no, that's not me. That was them. They're the ones to blame, not me. And then when I went to Pastor Gary's church, it's when it really set in. The night before I started going to Pastor Gary's church, I swore off God, all of it, even with that emotional experience, because I'm like, that's just emotions, whatever. You can't trust emotions. So, pretty much cussed him out again. I'm like, I don't believe in you. You don't matter. And then I go to church, and Pastor Gary comes up to me and he goes, hey, God just wants you to know that he's sorry that those people hurt you. And I'm like, okay, what? How do you know this? So it reopened the door again. And that's kind of where I'm at now is I'm trying to find my place in it. Not so much my place in it, but like I'm not really an understanding because I understand the Bible and stuff. It's fairly simple. It's it's kind of like the relationship behind it, the trying to form that. So
Got a great book for you for that. Help you out there. So you're getting close to graduation.
mhm.
So what's your future plans now?
So I wrote 2 books when I was in jail, and then I wrote most of the book while being here. A couple people in the programs read it. I wanted to go ahead and get one of those published. Jeremy's given me a lot of insight on one of them because he's read it, and I'm going to take his ideas, put it into the book and stuff. But really, just I want to get my book published. I'm going to stay in the transition house for about a year, and then I want to move up to Utah. So.
Awesome. Awesome. That sounds like good plans. So another question I usually ask, we've got a lot of different instructors
Mhm.
at the mission. We got Presbyterians, Methodists, Baptists, Catholics, Pentecostals, and they all come at the Bible from a different direction. Do you ever find that to be confusing?
At times, yes, because when I first got here, you would give a sermon,
Mhm.
Steve would come and give a sermon and say the exact opposite, and I'm like, what? But it was mainly just you and Steve that would do that. But you two are like the primary teachers. But and it was made like the gifts. You guys polar opposites on the gifts, stuff
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
that. So, but I mean, other than that, like it's not a big deal. So,
Okay. Because we all agree on the basics.
mhm.
Basics we can get along on. Okay. Anything else you want to tell us before we get done here? Okay. Well, thanks for coming by, brother. I appreciate you.